Welcome to Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. It has been a journey like none other to this point in the college football season. One we have literally never seen before. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Both teams getting here against some odds, which we'll talk about. But it all comes down to this matchup. We are live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We get to crown a champion tonight, guys. It's going to be very exciting. Christine Williamson, I am the height of the show today. Harry Lyles and Harry Douglas here. Guys, we made it. It's our last show of the season.
Did. You decided to wear still.
You know, I just had to make sure everybody knew who the tallest one on this set was today.
Unbelievable.
But, you know, it's been the longest college football season ever. I just want to get your thoughts as we go into the championship. How are you guys feeling?
Well, I feel great. Both of these teams are very deserving. I love the simple fact that we had parity in college football this season, and that's probably one of the main reasons why both of these teams are right here playing tonight, and one of them will be crowned champions.
And I do think the cool thing about tonight, like obviously much has been made positive and negative about the 12-team college football playoff format. It's been interesting because obviously Ohio State was one of the heavy favorites coming into the season, and they still had to fight their way to get into the playoff, and the format sort of proved like, okay, when you give a good team an opportunity to right their wrongs, they could still end up here. And then in the case of Notre Dame, you've got the ultimate next man up football team, as we've seen from them throughout the season, not just with the Northern Illinois loss, but all of their injuries since the playoffs. So it should be a really fun matchup tonight.
It's going to be so stinking good. You guys both mentioned the parity in college football and also just the things that both these teams have gone through to this point in the season. It was about 2 months ago when Ohio State took an L to Michigan and everybody was coming for Ryan Day's head. HD, how has this team changed since you saw that loss?
Well, I'm going to use a life lesson. Sometimes in order to have success, you have to go through trials and tribulation. And I'm going to use the word adversity. That's exactly what Ohio State went through. The third game of the year, going to Eugene, Oregon, losing to the Oregon Ducks on the last second. Time ran out on them. But then the last game of the year, you're facing the Michigan Wolverines. You lost to them for a 4th time in a row. But then you also seen Michigan try to flag plant. A flag in the middle of their football field. The look on Jack Sawyer's face, the tiredness of losing to Michigan on Jack Sawyer and all the rest of Ohio State faithful, you've seen it displayed. So when I look at this football team and I see the seniors, you look at Travion Henderson, Will Howard, Jack Sawyer, you look at Emeka Egbuka, all those guys made a decision amongst themselves to say, guys, we got to come together. How do we want to be remembered when it comes to Ohio State University and this football team? And it has not been the team that lost to the Michigan Wolverines. They want a chance to win a national championship, and they got that chance because of their stellar play, but also coming together as one, moving as unison. I always say this, one band, one sound. That's exactly what we've gotten since they lost to the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, Pete Thamel, our good friend, wrote a piece after the Rose Bowl to sort of capture, hey, how did Ohio State get the train back on the tracks? And basically after that Michigan loss, Jack Sawyer and a bunch of these seniors who got together at the end of last season and said, hey, we could go pro, we could go to the NFL, we're going to come back, we're going to try to win a national championship. Our reputation is not going to be, we are that group that always lost to Michigan. They still ended up losing to Michigan. They huddle up again and say, hey, our only chance at not being remembered for the worst thing that you could be remembered for as an Ohio State Buckeye is to go out here and win the national championship. And they've got the opportunity to ultimately fix their wrongs from the last 4 years.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Ryan Day likely saved his job as well because nobody wants to lose to that team over there. What were you going to say,
Well, let me say this. We got to give a lot of credit to Ryan Day as well, right?
Yeah.
Because being able to rally the troops, get those guys together to be able to come together for a common goal, even at the face of that adversity, knowing that his job is on the line, the coaching staff that he's put together, their jobs is on the line as well. He's done a stellar job, and those guys have showed up and showed out.
And you know that Ryan Day was under heat because people that don't cover college football were calling for his head.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know he was, like, truly under a different amount of pressure. So, like, look, I think if you look at his overall record, you take out the Michigan games, like, he's legitimately, like, statistically, one of the most successful coaches in Ohio State history.
I agree.
It was an incredible thing to watch them pile on him. I thought State won that they're going to win 10 or however many games or whatever. But a loss to a team that you don't think you're supposed to lose to, that can absolutely just wreck your entire season. And Marcus Freeman didn't let that happen, and he took a lot of criticism too at the beginning of the year because of those losses, because he did have early coaching troubles. We've seen him personally grow in a lot of coaching situations and things like that, but also you've seen this team. Riley Leonard has been the best version of himself. He has not turned the football over. Their pass defense has been absolutely phenomenal, and I think it's the attitude of this team in terms of, hey, if we stick together and we play connected ball, we're going to be okay. And that has not only worked for them on the field, but also as they recover from all these injuries that we've seen.
Yeah, that matchup versus Northern Illinois, Riley Leonard was not good in that ball game. The defense wasn't good in that ball game.
Nope.
But since that moment, they have been locked in. They basically been playing a college football playoff game since that loss. Because if they would have suffered another one, we got to remember, they don't play in a conference. They're independent. They would have been knocked out. But I would say it's been Riley Leonard taking care of the football, the wonderful run game with Riley Leonard, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. Those guys have been phenomenal. But also that defense, sacking the quarterback, creating takeaways, and just being phenomenal across the board. So I really like what Notre Dame does as a football team. And I would say this, Marcus Freeman is one of the better college football coaches we have in the country.
Yeah.
To be able to do what he did, to keep the attention of his football team, for them to trust and believe in him. And we got to remember, he's a former player, right?
Yep.
So he's been there and done it, guys. He's faced adversity as a player. He's faced adversity in life. So he can relate to those players on all fronts, and those guys trust him and believe him wholeheartedly. That's another reason why they're here right now playing for a national championship.
And I think, too, to his point as a young coach, I did not think we were going to see a better play call than Dan Lanning's extra 12th player on the field against Ohio State. You know which one was better? That special teams 11-on-11 off that Marcus Freeman pulled against Georgia, which essentially sealed the game for them. I mean, like, you have to be a different sort of coaching mind to pull that off. Obviously, they talked to the refs before the game to ensure that they were going to be in a position to succeed on that one. And so, to me, I think watching him also take personal accountability in his team's failures is not just the reason he is succeeding, but why they bought in and they were able to recover from that embarrassing early season loss.
And I would say this, to be able to do it without a star on their football team like you see on the other side for Ohio State, that says a lot about the coaching staff, how they have those guys locked in, but also believing in themselves that they can get the job done by all means necessary. So it's just been, in my opinion, gracious to watch them, the attention to detail to be able to be in this game right now.
It's also been so great for like everybody, even non-college football fans, to really just become fans of Marcus Freeman. It changed the entire way that people looked at this Notre Dame football team. When he first became the head coach at Notre Dame, there were a lot of questions about whether or not he deserved this job. How much growth have you just seen in him as an individual and as a head coach?
So I don't think it's just this year. Watching Marcus Freeman last year, especially in the game versus Ohio State, and watching them lose that game on situational football, but to watch him in the semifinals versus Penn State control the clock and be dialed in for every situation possible, it lets me know that he took it personal. He looked himself in the mirror and said, you know what, I have to be better for these young men that I have on this roster so I can have them go out there and be the best version of themselves. So just watching his growth, and y'all know I have personal ties with him.
Yep.
Every time in the offseason he comes in and does get up, he does first take.
Yeah.
I make sure that I'm there alongside with him, man, and he's just a guy top to bottom that I'm very fond of.
Yeah, for sure. And he also came on first take when I was there once. Also, our son was there. Okay, we now welcome in George and Ian Fitzsimmons, who will be covering the sideline for this game today. You guys, it has been the longest college football season ever. How are you guys feeling as we go into the matchup for ESPN Radio?
It's been a long season, to say the least. I've gotten the chance to watch Notre Dame in 2 of their playoff games.
Yeah.
Starting in the home game against Indiana and then last week against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. I've been so impressed with the resiliency of this team. I can't wait to see how Marcus Freeman gets them ready for tonight.
But it's been, in my opinion, the best year in college football.
Yeah.
Because of the 12-team playoff, and Harry, you and I talked about this about a month ago, it is one where in the late month of, in October, early November, you had not just 7 or 8 teams invested in a 14 playoff, you had 18 to 20 fan bases still invested in the playoff. So, yeah, it's been long, but it's been glorious. In my opinion, the best season that I've seen in covering college football in 25 years.
It's been so stinking good. All right, let's talk about these teams a little bit more, shall we? Katie, you're going to be on the Notre Dame sideline. They are without their starting left tackle. What's the situation with Notre Dame right now?
Yeah, I think health is a big question coming in for Notre Dame. We're expecting to see Charles Jagusa in at left tackle. He's taken a lot of the reps with the ones at left tackle. You saw him in the Orange Bowl go in when Rocco Spindler went down at right guard. Remarkable story. I mean, he tore his right pec in preseason. He was slated to be the starting left tackle for Notre Dame this season. Tears his pec. He undergoes surgery. They don't expect him to return for this season. But good thing it's been a long season because he had an opportunity to attack his rehab, get after it, and then he was able to be available for that Orange Bowl, and now we're expecting to see him at left tackle, which is going to be huge given, I mean, how reckless these guys are on the edge for Ohio State.
What section is going to be the party section?
Denzel Burke and JTT went down in the semifinal with injuries. What's their status?
JTT actually came back, the outstanding edge rusher for Ohio State from the field. He came back in the second half against Texas. So they're both going to go. But my biggest story about Ohio State is this, a second chance. Will Howard told me at the Rose Bowl, you know, it's so hard to get a second chance in this great game of college football. And after that Michigan loss, they did a lot of self-scouting, and it really galvanized them to the point where they are now playing their best ball. And they have embraced this second chance to go and chase the championship. And they're not only playing for the guy next to them, they're also playing for their head coach. I mean, after that Michigan game, they wanted that fan base on Ryan State's head on a spigot at Capitol Square in Columbus, Ohio. These players knew it. They love their coach. They're playing for him right now. Here they are, 60 minutes away from a national title.
Marcus Freeman, this team has taken on the personality and confidence. Notre Dame, I think we can all agree, is likable. And worth mentioning two other guys, Jeremiah Love at running back. He was 75 to 80% going into that Orange Bowl. Now he says he's about 90, 95. He feels really good. The best he's felt since he injured that right knee against USC. And then we are expecting Bo Collins, their second leading receiver, to go as well.
When it comes to Notre Dame handling this Ohio State offense, I mean, there's plenty of things to look at. How is Marcus Freeman talking about how they plan on trying to slow them down?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a great question. I mean, we've talked a lot about man coverage against Jeremiah Smith and whatnot. He's got words for that.
If you want it, come get it. Literally. Look at Harry Douglas. Like, you're going to play man against those dudes, 2 and 4 for Ohio State. Let's go.
It will be interesting to see if they do exactly what we've seen them do. Make some tweaks and play a little bit of chess. But I will say that Al Golden told us they're liking this to the Georgia game. You got to go in and you got to attack. We got to take out the bully. They viewed Georgia as the bully. They viewed Ohio State very similarly.
You look at Notre Dame, we know their priority on offense is to rush the football and to do it effectively. You look at Riley Leonard, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price. From an Ohio State perspective, defensively, what are some of the things that they're saying about stopping and limiting that run game?
Everything is keyed on the run game. And it starts to stopping Jeremiah Love. And you know, Riley Leonard is a remarkable talent. But watch Caleb Downs. He's playing back there like Troy Polamalu. Yeah.
And this is a home game for him.
Dude, look, he is freelancing back there. Harry, you've watched the tape. You guys have watched it. You can't tell if it's cover 3 or what the hell's going on because 2 is now given that freedom to do whatever the heck he wants. So it all starts up front with that front 7, shutting down that run game. But keep an eye on Caleb Downs because he has now been given that freedom to do basically whatever he wants in that third level, and it's remarkable to see.
What's his feel? Because when you talk on the field, it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down the wire. And then I go, next person says, no, it's going to be 43-10 in Ohio State's favor. Where do you guys feel like this is going to end up?
It has to be a perfect game. My opinion for Notre Dame.
That's where,
Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-score game in Ohio State's favor.
No.
Well,
I do think the good thing that Notre Dame has going for them is even if their offense is not moving, they are one of the best teams in the country at not taking negative plays. So I think that could be the difference between them, this being a blowout and them keeping it close for perhaps longer than people might expect.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Notre Dame having a perfect game. I don't think it's necessary, but they are going to have to figure out how to score some points against this Ohio State defense.
Marcus Freeman says it's going to come down to 3rd and long situations on both sides. You got to stay ahead of the chains. If Notre Dame gets behind the sticks, it's going to be a long night, I think.
Yes. 6 picks this year. Ryan Day, when I talked to him about an hour ago, big emphasis. The 3rd phase will play a big role tonight.
And they call it special teams because it's special.
Special people play special teams.
I love it. Such good stuff from you guys. Katie and Ian will be on the sideline for ESPN Radio tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. And for more from our ESPN Radio friends, we go outside.
Thank
Thanks, Christine. Boy, guys, do we have a heavyweight fight tonight. And what's awesome about an expanded playoff system is I think that we can feel confident that we actually have the two best teams in college football. So let's talk about Ohio State first. Rashad, what are you looking to see from them tonight?
Ohio State, I'm looking for them to continue dominating as they've done throughout the duration of the playoffs. So the playoffs, soon as it kicked in, we knew what happened to Michigan when they played against Michigan. After that suffering loss, they have been lights out. They have been dominating on the scoreboard, winning in double digits in the 3 games in the college football playoffs, which is unheard of. Their defense is not allowing any points. Their offense is scoring. That's what you need. One of the best rosters, if not the best roster in all of college football, and they're proving it right now.
Yes, as we know, because of how dominant they've been, they're going to come into this matchup incredibly confident as an 8.5-point favorite.
I'm looking for Ohio State to really have to continue the performance that you've had from them so far this playoff. Wins against Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, they've had to bring their A-plus game. So in order to win the national championship tonight, can you get 4 straight A-plus games from Ohio State? That's what it's going to take to beat Notre Dame tonight.
What they're going to try to do is make sure Notre Dame's in such a hole early like they did with Tennessee and like they did with Oregon that Notre Dame cannot climb its way out of that hole. Notre Dame, though, is going to be trying to minimize the scoring in this game. What are you looking to see from Notre Dame?
Notre Dame got to start fast. Notre Dame is playing indoors, which is going to be tougher. I think Notre Dame is built for an outdoors team. They're gritty. They're heavy-handed up front. They're going to play physical, they're going to play emotional, but they got to play smart. They got to run the clock down. They got to get to 2nd and 5 very quickly, keep the ball in Riley's hand as much as possible, and Jordan Love. Make this a run-first game, play it in the trenches, take them out of the water because they're great at fish. Whatever the element they're good in, and take them out of it, make them play your style of football.
Yeah, we know with that running game for Notre Dame, that's always the key. Love, Price, obviously what Riley Leonard can do with his legs as well. What are you looking to see from Notre Dame?
Yeah, I'm looking for them to keep it a low-scoring game. This is a team that really takes the identity of their head coach. Keep it low scoring, smart plays, special teams play a major factor. I'm expecting special teams to be a major difference maker for the Irish tonight.
Yeah, an absolute dogfight tonight. 2 heavy hitters, the 2nd and 4th most winningest programs in college football history. We cannot wait. Thanks, Christine.
All right, a lot of stars are in this game, but none with more eyes on them than Jeremiah Smith. In Ohio State's first playoff game versus Tennessee, Smith set the tone with an opening drive, 37-yard touchdown, and the Buckeyes just kept going. From there, he finished with 103 yards and 2 touchdowns and a 42-17 win. But guess what? It was the same exact story against Oregon. On the second day of the game, Smith took a Will Howard pass. This one, 45 yards to the house. He added another 40-yard touchdown later in the game. Finished that game with 187 yards receiving as Ohio State cruised 41-21 in that matchup. Now, that was a good one. It was a little bit different against the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns kept him bottled up all night, just 3 targets all night, and Smith finished with a season-low 1 catch for 3 yards. End result was the same, though, as Ohio State won 28-14, obviously, which is why we see them here tonight trying to win a national championship. And we are so very excited to be joined by 2 teammates, Joey Galloway and Eddie George. And Joey, I watched you walk right over here, right next to where I sat, and then attack Eddie. And I was like, wait, what's going on over there? So you guys know each other obviously very well.
I'm a little older than him, right? So I'm big brother. He's the big brother. Got to send a message. He's the big little brother. Every now and then, I got to send a message that I'm still the boss.
Gotta let him know.
That's what you say.
All right. Good to have you both here. Very excited for this matchup, obviously, with the Ohio State Buckeyes trying to win another national championship. Let's talk about their rookie, the freshman, Jeremiah Smith. He's been awesome for the Buckeyes this season. What have you seen out of him, Joey, that's impressed you the most?
He showed up at 215, 6'3", and he looked like a man. Typically speaking, when we show up, we look like we came out of high school and we're getting ready to go to college. He showed up, and if you saw him across the field, you'd have thought, who's that NFL guy that's here watching practice? He's just a physical player that literally, when they come out, whoever's across from him physically is better than him.
Yeah, and, you know, I haven't had a lot of chance to really this year as I was coaching, but when I sat back and watched the playoffs and watched how he started to dominate, you know, I was like, man, I played with Joey, Terry Glenn, but we had some really great receivers come through the school, but he could probably be one of the best or the best to come through when his career is all said and done at Ohio State.
Now, when you guys see a guy that special come through Ohio State, I mean, there's the blitz and the glamour and the prestige of an Ohio State already. Do you almost, when you see a guy like this, want to reach out even more and be like, hey, like, you want to give him this advice, that advice, to really make sure? Because, I mean, like, the potential, the talent, like you said, Joey, like, when a guy shows up, he's not supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, do you sort of extend your hand a little bit more to somebody like that and be like, hey, like, you know, it'd be a resource for somebody like that?
He's doing a terrific job at Tennessee State. But
by the way, you didn't give me a sticker. I'm still waiting for my sticker.
I go to practice early on. I did have a chance to talk to him. I do have a chance to see him in practice and say, hey, try this or do that. But he's so mature that there's not a whole lot that you have to say to him. He's ready to go.
And I would also say this. His cousin is Geno Smith, right? Who plays quarterback in the National Football League. So growing up watching Geno Smith, being able to have that access and talk to him about the ins and outs of the game, not just at a pro level, because we know Jeremiah Smith is going to be a pro's pro. He's going to be the #1 overall pick when it's time for him to come out. But to talk to him about the college game and what to expect. But he also has a coach by the name of Brian Hartline, who played wide receiver in the National Football League, who is galvanizing and teaching these guys the way the game's supposed to be played. Because, Joey, you watch film, Eddie, you watch film, we know wholeheartedly it's not like that every place where guys are being taught and teach the proper way.
It's watching him play like you're talking about. He's running out of like a freshman doing that, it's really remarkable.
He said that. You mentioned the fact that he looks like a grown man coming out of high school. Dan Orlovsky said that he would be the #1 pick if he was to go into the draft this year. Do you agree with that?
There weren't so many teams that needed quarterbacks. Yes. Nothing's a quarterback. If you need one of those, you go get one of those. Any other position, I would agree with.
Okay. So obviously we know we have two great receivers on our set right now in Joey and HD. HD, you played with Julio Jones, right? When you think about the attention that a talent like that takes, how is that for you as a receiver?
Well, let me say this. Cardinal Tate reaped the benefit of it in the semifinals, right?
Yeah.
So me being able to play with a Roddy White and a Julio Jones and teams decided to double team those two guys, well, it allowed me to get one-on-one in the slot. And it's the same thing for Cardinal Tate. When you have a Emeka Egbuka who's going in the first round in this 2025 NFL draft, you have a Jeremiah Smith, you have a Travion Henderson, and also a Quinshawn Judkins. It allows guys like Cardinal Tate to get off and win his one-on-one matchup, and he hasn't disappointed all season long.
Eddie, let me ask you this, because we had enough receiver talk. Jeez. These running backs, man. I mean, we know about Quinshawn Judkins, and also me and HD were talking about, man, you know he's a bad boy because he's got the things wrapped up, like past the claw. Like, he means business. And obviously, Travion Henderson, a home run hitter. I mean, like, what is it about these group of guys that are special?
Travion Henderson, he's a home run threat at anywhere on the field. Quinshawn Judkins, I would have liked to see him touch the ball a little bit more, get it 15, 20 times because he has that physical presence. He runs behind his pads. He imposes his will on defenses. But Travion's been phenomenal in the screen game, the passing game. He's ripped off some big runs when they really needed that spark offensively when they tried to take Jeremiah Smith away. So I like that 1-2 punch for Ohio State. I just wish they would run it more consistently with efficiency in between the tackles. So that's the only thing that they're missing in this offense right now.
All right, you guys. I mean, Ohio State, they're trying to win a national championship today. Sorry. The Ohio State University is trying to win a national championship today. How confident are you in your Buckeyes that they're able to get it done?
I'm praying for a great game. I think it'll be a competitive game. This team is just on a mission. Ever since they lost to that team up north, they have been on fire. They've been playing angry. They've been playing together. They've been playing to prove a point. And I think that just continues here tonight, that they're going to go out there and finish the job.
It's going to be a good one. Joey?
So he's excited about this football game tonight. He's been asking me, Daddy, is Notre Dame wearing their gold helmets again? And I love the simple fact that in the college football playoffs, these guys get to have their names on the back of their jerseys. There's no better way. You represent Notre Dame, the university, but at the same time, when you get to go out here and ball out and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and you make plays for your respected team, people get to look at the name on the back of the jersey, and you get to represent your family.
Certainly a lot on the line with that representation tonight as Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman, whose knees work really well. We just saw him get down there. Can you do that with your? I can't do that with my knees.
I can, but not in this suit. It's a $2,000 suit, Christine. I'm not trying
sorry? Wow, Harry Lyles is rich.
Well, I can't get down on my knees like that.
See, thank you. I'm not as old as you.
Too many years in the NFL. I had a lot of injuries. ACL, meniscus.
83's got the Rice Krispie knees, snap, crackle, pop.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Every time I get out of bed now, everything is hurt.
We talked about that a little bit as we see Marcus Freeman dapping up his guys. He's really changed the culture there in Notre Dame. How impressed have you been with what he's been able to do, Lyles?
Oh, I mean, extremely. The fact that we have had since the playoffs started, multiple people on our shows, including Katie George today, say that Notre Dame is cool and likable is nuts. That is not easy to accomplish. And so he's done it not just with his team and how they carry themselves, but how they present themselves out into the media as well. So it's been an incredible job because I never thought in my lifetime I would ever hear people say that Notre Dame was cool like that. And he accomplished it very easy.
All right, so we're talking about how cool Notre Dame is. We welcome in now the #2 all-time leader in receiving yards for Notre Dame. He's a Belinda-Kopp Award winner, a unanimous All-American. Welcome to the show, Golden Tate.
Speaking of making Notre Dame cool, the coolest celebration in college football history, this dude jumping into the band.
Look at this. Look at this. We got your highlights and everything.
Look at that.
Exactly. We like to hype you up. We like to. You are cool. And then also this jacket.
It's fine.
Is this a custom-made jacket? You guys can see it. It's fire. It's fire.
Good friends over at Tulane sent us a nice jacket.
Get that number patch.
Yeah, let's see the back of it. Let's see the back of it now that we're on camera. Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's fresh. I like that.
I wore it the last time we won in the playoff game a few weeks ago, so I said, why not wear it again, right?
Superstition. Okay, so we were just talking obviously about how cool you are, but also how cool Marcus Freeman has made Notre Dame again. What has impressed you the most about what he's been able to do with the culture at Notre Dame?
It's been nothing shy of impressive. He's got those guys so locked in each and every game. You can't help but to like the guy. And the fact that they went from Coach Kelly right over to Marcus Freeman and you didn't have any drop off the recruiting, you saw the guys come in and like go crazy when they heard the news that he was still staying on. And to top it up here, you know, it's always good to have a players type of coach.
That's
Someone
right.
who's been there and done it. He knows how guys' bodies feel. He knows what the mental part of the game is like. And so to bring that all into the cycle is special. And I love seeing how these guys play under adversity.
So, Golden, I talked about this earlier. Whenever they lost to Northern Illinois, it wasn't hard for Marcus Freeman to get the message across because he's been there and he's done it. He's faced adversity as a player. But I want to ask you about this wide receiver group. When you look at Jordan Faison, you look at Jaden Greathouse, when you look at this group of guys, Bo Collins, what must they do tonight in order to get a victory for Notre Dame?
We're going to have to go up and make a few plays on those 50-50 balls. We need some explosive plays. Those always help, especially when you're trying to keep up with a team like Ohio State. And so just don't make idiotic mistakes. Like, let's just stay on pace. We want to play our own game, and that's really important. And so we need to get screens in Faison. We need to get Greathouse on some comebacks.
point when it comes to the first round bye. Every single team that had a bye this season lost their first game that they played.
Talk to him.
Did it not feel very appropriate that in the first year of the 12-team playoff, the first home site game we got to see was at Notre Dame, and you got touchdowns and just everything about it?
It was beautiful. It was very beautiful.
You have the elements, you have the snow, you have the temperatures being frigid. That whole nine, that's football, especially when you talk about late November, December. Now we're here in January, and the Irish are playing for a chance to win the national championship, my man.
So I saw you on First Take this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I already know what your answer is gonna be, but we have to get a prediction in tonight's matchup. Who do you got and why do you think that Notre Dame is gonna win?
I'm going with Notre Dame because that's my squad to the day I die. Okay? That's why I won. That's why I attended, and I'm riding with them forever. Now, in order for us to win this game tonight, I think it has to be a low-scoring type of game. We do not want to go get into a shootout against these guys. The players that got over there, no, we don't want that. But we want to have these guys fighting in the telephone booth. Keep them close. They're going to make their plays. They got spectacular players. But we want to play that bend but don't break defense. And to the original question, Notre Dame, 24-20.
Beautiful. And I end like this. When you have a receiver that rocks number 23, damn it, that boy bangs. Come on, talk to me.
I also want to mention, you can't see it, but Golden has a Louis Vuitton looking Notre Dame shoes on as well. Like he's fitted from head to toe.
Oh yeah, he rocking it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Golden Tate.
Thank y'all so much for having me, man. This environment's electric.
Yes, it is. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be cheering for you. All right, time now for Guarantee of the Game, presented by AT&T. As we look at the outlook, we got the shoes. There it is. Harry Douglas, what kind of guarantee can you make about this game tonight?
Well, I think when it comes to Ohio State, it's imperative that they do not have the penalties that they had in the game versus Texas. That allowed the Texas Longhorns to have an opportunity to have that game close to the end. Thank goodness for Jack Sawyer with the sack fumble return for a touchdown that put that game away. Also, I would say this, do not turn the football over. If you're Ohio State, you don't turn the football over, I don't think there's any chance that you can lose this football game.
All right, you talked about not turning the football over, which is key. How do you avoid costly mistakes as a receiver?
As a receiver, I mean, I think for them, it's really about ball security, holding that thing high and tight. Obviously, I think 83 might be more well-equipped. What'd you say to...
Yeah, I would say it's just simple ball security, right? Don't try to be someone that you're not. Everything that you've done up until this point has you prepared for this football game. We always used to talk amongst our locker room, whenever you start doing things outside of the realms that you normally do to get ready for a football game, that's when the mistakes start to happen. That's when you fumble footballs. That's when you drop passes. That's when you have the penalties. And when you look at a team like Ohio State, right, who had penalties early versus Texas, Travion Henderson made up for it, right? He said he repented to the good man upstairs, and the good man upstairs took care of him because he had a 75-yard touchdown on the screen.
No better place to do it than Notre Dame.
Yep.
No college football team takes advantage of mistakes better than Notre Dame. Can Ohio State afford to be more conservative
So we do a little bachata. Then we go to the theaters, we see the movie, and then we leave the movie. That's when we go to our favorite, like, after-hours place. We spend time, we talk about the movie, and then that's a great Valentine's Day, because then I get to give you my gift.
What is it?
Christine.
I always ask. You gotta have a home by 10. Home by 10.
She's about to what is it? Christine.
I'm gonna have it.
Gotta have a home by 10.
You know what it is. I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, it could be, I gotta say this though, right? Because
a nice necklace.
Even though I love you, we do have some kind of beef. Because see, the home that you're in right now, it's called Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Speaking of
My bad, big dog. My bad, big dog. Loserland. Super Bowl 44. We won Obama's Super Bowl, dog. We won. You won 23-8. What is it, 28-3?
Don't you go do this.
Do y'all speak? Have y'all?
Mackie,
I know how to read hieroglyphics, bro. 28-3.
Not hieroglyphics.
That's hieroglyphics.
Is it?
When it's too high, that is glyphic.
That's hieroglyphics. Got it.
So I protested that Super Bowl. I scheduled my flight to leave at the time of that Super Bowl. When I took off, it was 21-0 Atlanta. And I was like, Atlanta won a Super Bowl. We get up. When we go to land in New Orleans, the pilot said, guys, 28-3. Looks like Atlanta's going to win a Super Bowl. A tear, like a Denzel Washington glory tear, fell out of my face.
And for the people that don't understand, he's from New Orleans.
I'm from New Orleans, all right? I'm from New Orleans, so there's a bitterness between
We really don't have to allow this to happen. You know, this is our building, this is our city. Like, we don't have to take this down.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
First of all, we got Caesars. Caesar came in and saved us from Mercedes. We got shout out to the Caesars Palace Dome in New Orleans.
No, man, only Caesar we acknowledge out here is salad.
We bet Caesar. I got the Caesar.
And Andy Frito like Parmesan cheese in his Caesar salad.
Caesar salad, no cheese. Like, I mean, everything. I'm all about Caesar. My car is Caesar Gold. I just painted my car Caesar Gold.
LSU fan as well.
Yes.
When you see Brian Kelly leave this university and Marcus Freeman is playing for a national championship, when you think about your LSU Tigers, what's your mental space when it comes to that football team?
You know what, bro? It's hard. Like, we're starting to see the effects of the NIL. And I think it'll take 5 to 7 years for it to be corrected and figured out. But college football was, before the playoffs, when it was just college football and you would pick 2 teams to play for the championship, when it was college football and it was 4 teams in the playoffs, now it's 12 teams, it was all about the quarterback. Because he knew the scheme, he knew the system, he could figure out what was going on with the defense. It takes you 2 to 3 years to learn an offense. You look at Vince Young and what he was able to do at Texas. If you look at, Joe Burrow and what he was able to do at LSU, it's just like a college quarterback needs at least 2 years to figure out what his team is and how he's going to lead that team. And I feel like a coach needs the exact same thing, at least 2 to 3 years to build the team that he wants to build. I think in 2028, mark my word.
Okay.
Clip that.
Because LSU, no matter what, pound for pound, every college, every city, we have the best skilled players of any school. We had Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry on the same team. We just needed somebody to throw them the ball. All right.
So I do say this. So back in the day when Alabama was winning all the national championships,
that ain't fair. That ain't fair.
But listen,
that ain't fair.
If LSU would have had a quarterback,
it would have been a problem. But Alabama had 5 30-year-old men playing running back on the same team. Like, y'all literally went to, like, the local jail and got every dude out there and got him to play running back. It don't make sense. When Derrick Henry came out of LSU, it was like, oh, yeah, he's 19 years old. I believe that. Come on, stop it, dude. Stop it. Alabama had grown men. Just just like Georgia. Georgia for the past 5 years had grown men. Yeah. Ohio State tonight, when I look at these dudes, that's grown men. Like they've been eating beef, drinking milk,
a lot of corn.
like throwing bales of hay on the truck.
No salads for
him. You got a bale of hay, ain't no salad. That boy don't know what lettuce is. That boy ain't never.
Pork chops.
That's straight charcuterie.
With rice.
That is straight charcuterie right there.
Hey, you see Xavier Legette be eating squirrel and raccoon.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not going that far.
Come on now.
I don't want no squirrel. I don't want no raccoon.
Come on now.
I know you from New Orleans. I know you down
there. You play bad Atlanta, bro. I know you do brie and kumquats. You look like you eat kumquats.
I ate squirrel once. Lyles.
Keep going.
Okay, so here's the thing. My grandpa used to go outside and kill the squirrel and then just bring it inside.
That was a grown man.
And my grandma would just cook them.
Yes, she did.
Tennessee.
Yes, she did. Grown woman.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to, bro.
I really did not think that this is where this is going.
Like they used to. It's like when you see a 65 Mustang pull up next to a Bentley, and you look at that Bentley and you go, you look at that 65 Mustang and you say, they don't make them like they used to.
That boy bad.
Yeah.
That boy bad.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody can buy a Bentley, but your grandma.
She was resourceful. Do you have a prediction for this matchup?
She can cook a squirrel.
You said grown men on Ohio State's side. You think they're going to win?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking about football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
right out here.
Yes.
You got Ohio State?
I got Ohio State by 17. I think the first half is going to be feeling it out, feeling each other out. Second half, Ohio State going to come out. Notre Dame got to wear down their defense. They got to run the ball. They got to punch them in the mouth. They got to fight them for the first half. Then the second half, Ohio State defense will be tired. Down there, run through it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing they can do. This is grown men.
Yeah.
Those dudes been paying taxes for 7 years. All right.
Hey, I mean, some of them probably should be on LinkedIn and have their own health insurance.
Some of those dudes are red shirt freshers.
Oh my gosh.
A few COVID years in there.
Yeah. It's like I worked at a detail company and then I decided to go to college. Dude, you're 28 years old. You ain't no freshman. No way.
You're too old, huh?
Yeah,
wow,
man.
what a time this has been.
But, you know, I would have the freshest haircut in here right now, but somebody
Bro, we
had to go see my barber.
I mean, some of us get all of our haircuts.
No,
we cut our own hair.
Bro, we got frosted flakes.
We cut our own hair. HG's going to be bald soon. Remember? He said he's going to cut it all off.
My birthmark is in the side of my head. I'm not going bald anytime soon.
It's contagious.
Mine's on the left side, too.
It's not contagious. You just want to be
We're probably cousins.
Why you should have played for the same.
Y'all are related. Y'all are related. All right, Captain America, Brave New World coming out on February 14th. Y'all good?
Yeah, we good.
Sorry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Y'all have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Thanks. Enjoy the game. All right, we're getting ready for a matchup between Notre Dame and Ohio State here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You guys are. It's fine. 26 minutes and 55 seconds until kickoff. Wow, not too long till we see that matchup go down. It's going to be so stinking good. Right, HD?
Doing great. You know, it's real loud in here, Christine. I think both of us missed you, but, we're having a great time. I don't know that we're going to have a conversation that just went better than the last one that we had. It's really starting to fill up. I'll tell you what, a lot of the Notre Dame folks are dressed in green, and so you can kind of tell in the stadium a better dynamic in terms of who's who. And I would say, what, Christine, we've probably got 60-40 Ohio State? What do you think?
It's definitely more Ohio State fans in the building, but I would say where our set is right now, we're only around Notre Dame fans currently.
I was going to say, too, the other thing, too, in the stadium, all the seats are red.
Yes.
So the places where people aren't sitting, it does look like it could possibly be an Ohio State game. We'll see how things go down. It does also, and I don't think we anticipated this. I mean, we could have, but it looks like Christmas.
No, it's a solid split. I will tell you, though, it seemed like there was definitely more Notre Dame people around Atlanta, right? And I would say in the stadium as of right now, actually, now that I take a look up in the upper deck, and it is up there, y'all are watching the game with God, it is a little bit, it might be a little bit closer to 50-50.
Yeah. All right. Now 25 minutes, 32-10 seconds until until this matchup. Now we're joined by former Notre Dame defensive lineman Isaac Rochell. He was a 3-year starter for the Irish, drafted by the Chargers in 2007, went on to play 7 seasons in the National Football League. Hello and welcome, sir.
How we doing? We should all feel great because Notre Dame is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us.
Excited.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, maybe. I don't know yet.
Okay. But we were just talking about the crowd. How do you feel about the showing from your Fighting Irish?
To be honest with you, when I was in the concourse, if that's even what you call it, I felt like it was really green. This feels, it feels kind of Ohio State heavy.
It does.
It does.
Yes.
Maybe it's just the angle, but it feels Ohio State heavy.
So I have a question for you. When you're watching the game, are you sitting in the Notre Dame area or the area where Ohio State fans are mainly going to be?
TBD. I haven't been to my seats yet.
Oh, you haven't been there
now,
yet? Okay.
We're going to find out, but hopefully it's Notre Dame fans. If not, I'm going to hold it down.
Sounds good to me.
Is this wristband, is this for the game?
This was pregame. ESPN had a little tailgate.
Okay.
And I partook in, but yeah.
Get no invite. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's a little rude.
I didn't get an invite either.
As you guys are working.
Yeah.
Getting after it.
We're working very hard, of course.
I still want my invite, though.
Yeah, I know. It was good. It was good.
I want to be able to say no.
I feel like we could pull up if we wanted to. We could pull up if we wanted to. I want to ask you, we've asked every single Notre Dame person this, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, to be honest, in the show, but I think it is very important. What Marcus Freeman has been able to do with this team and this culture over the last 3 years, what has impressed you the most?
Yeah, I mean, as a guy who played here and was a part of good teams, like we had great players on our teams, there was some disconnect, right? Like, I think in 2015 when we went to the Fiesta Bowl, we were great players. But again, for some reason, the culture and the talent didn't connect. What he's done is he's connected the dots, and he's been an absolute game changer for Notre Dame. I'm just proud to watch it as an alum, and I think you're going to see it tonight, this culture and everything that he's building really come together.
So let me ask you this about this defense, because you see that defensive line, you see the secondary. They want to play man coverage. Those two areas go hand in hand. They must coexist. Right. The defense line must get pressure. The guys on the back end, they have to make plays when that does happen.
Right. So it's a simple formula.
Who is the one player that has to be extraordinary tonight on that defense?
Yeah, I think it's the D-line, just in general. Okay. The D-line's got to play well. It's a simple formula, which I was about to say. Rush and cover work together. If you're rush and your D-line's getting out to the quarterback, you can play man coverage. You can take risks. You can blitz. You can do a lot of different things. So the D-line's got to be great all day.
Jeremiah Smith said don't play man on him.
Say one more. We're getting it. Go Irish.
I said Jeremiah Smith said don't play man on him. I don't know why you even do that. Do you think that's a smart decision?
I cannot hear you.
It's very loud. Can you hear me?
I can.
So she's talking about Jeremiah Smith. I'm going to ask you a different question. In terms of this team, you are an alumni. This team has been through a lot this season. What are you most proud of in terms of how they've turned the season around since that Northern Illinois loss?
Yeah, I think it's just the swagger and the confidence, right? Like, they're stepping on fields, and they have a presence about them. Individual players, too. It's not just everybody collectively. It's individual guys just stepping on a field with confidence. That's what I'm excited about.
So you look at the opposite side of the ball for Notre Dame. You look at their offense and Riley Leonard being at the forefront of everything that they like to do. When you see this run game, how important is it for them to be able to get off and have success so everything isn't on Riley Leonard and his arm?
Yeah, I mean, this game to me is the Riley Leonard show. This Notre Dame defense has been great all year. They're going to play well today, and Riley Leonard has to play extraordinary today. And the way you established a Riley Leonard playing well is the rush game. The O-line's got to play exceptional, and again, you got to establish your run game early and get Ohio State, their defense, uncomfortable. And then Riley Leonard can eat. He can do his thing. But you're exactly right. The run game's got to be perfect.
So I'm going to put a lot of pressure on you.
Here we go.
Being a Notre Dame alum. If everything is on the arm of Riley Leonard, do you have faith that he can get it done on a consistent basis tonight versus this vintage Ohio State Buckeyes defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look at his resume so far with Notre Dame. He's been a great game manager. He makes the right throws at the right times, and he manages the game well. We need him to do that today, and then make a couple extra plays. He doesn't have to be Peyton Manning. He doesn't have to be Tom Brady. Do what you've done all year, make a couple extra plays, limit mistakes, and let the defense do what they've done, and Notre Dame will be all right.
Anything?
I mean, I'm just hoping for a good game, man.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think a lot of people, the way that this game has been talked about, and I'm sure you've heard it, a lot of people are saying, Ohio State's going to blow them out this, second, third. I really do think that is, and, that is an opportunity. That is one of the possible outcomes. But I really do think that the things that Notre Dame does well, running the football, playing defense, and you brought it up earlier, HD, the special teams. this game because we've seen it work in Ohio State's favor too. So I think whoever wins that phase of the game is going to be big. But this is a team that just doesn't take negative plays. And so I think that this game tonight is going to surprise some folks. And I really think that this is going to be the perfect cap on this season.
Okay, so the proper question is to get your estimation on what's going to happen in the matchup tonight. I can only imagine that you would never in your life say Ohio State would win this game.
You're
so
right.
how do you
Smart woman. That's
how
true.
do you think that Notre Dame is going to get it done tonight?
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a last possession ball game. I think you can't make it through this college football structure and you not have a great game when it comes to the national championship. So, again, it might come down to who has the ball last. I think that's what you're looking at. But obviously, Notre Dame's going to do their thing and win.
Clearly. All right, well, it's so great to see you, Isaac. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck tonight. Go find your seat amongst the Ohio State fans, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jacket for when you leave, right? It's cold out there, man.
Yeah, you got a t-shirt.
Listen, I'm built for this. Go.
No, you're not, bro.
That's crazy.
Nobody's built for this.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, we're getting you ready for the kickoff between Ohio State and Notre Dame. That matchup happening so soon as we have another guest. His number 10 is enshrined in Ohio Stadium. He was only the second Ohio State quarterback to go 3-0 against Michigan, finished with a 25-3 record as a starter, and he won the 2006 Heisman Trophy in a landslide, becoming Ohio State's 6th winner of the award. Joining us now is Ohio State legend, Troy Smith. I feel like we have to, clap when our guests come on. We've had some pretty solid guests. This is one of our best, for sure. Troy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ohio State has been fun to watch this season, a little up and down season so far. As a fan and as an alum, how has it been watching your Buckeyes get to this point in the season?
I'm kind of spoiled because all I want is wins. It's been tumultuous, it's been up and it's been down. Obviously, we all know about 13-10. We don't want that. We just need to come out nasty, be who we need to be, run the football.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why Ohio State has been able to have success in the football playoffs is the quarterback position in Will Howard. When they got him out of the transfer portal from Kansas State, he was mainly known for being a running quarterback. He's been able to be efficient in the college football playoffs, delivering the football to all the unique weapons that they have. What are your thoughts on him and the job he's been able to do so far?
So my thoughts on him is I love him. He's my quarterback. He's got us here. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. Hopefully, Chip Kelly calls all the plays that accentuate the things that he does well. Specifically, the 13-10 game, we saw physical things. What we need to see now is Will Howard being comfortable in the pocket, delivering the football, down the field, and then run the air out of the football.
If you had to give this team a speech coming out before this game, because you played in the national championship, you guys were heavy favorites, what would you tell those guys before they run out onto this field?
So because I was 50% in the national championships in 2002, I was a snotty-nosed freshman. My senior season, we didn't get a chance to win it. The main thing that I would say, empty all the bullets out the holster. Don't leave nothing inside. This is your last game. If you don't come out on top, 364 days out of the year, it's going to be pretty dismal back in the city. Empty all the bullets out the holster, call all the plays, and then, too, put more than 32 and number 1 in the game at the same time.
I like
so
that.
You can scare the defense. You know what
So
I mean?
I want to go back to the 2002 year, right? Because going into that national championship game, you guys were the underdogs. And you talk about one of the greatest football teams assembled in college football history, the Miami Hurricanes. When you look at this matchup tonight, that's how a lot of people are viewing Notre Dame. So for the Ohio State Buckeyes, what do you want them to watch out for, knowing that you've been on the other side of this back in 2002?
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps because Marcus Freeman is my brother. He was a middle linebacker and a wheel linebacker with me. And he's got so much of Jim Tressel inside of him. Jim Tressel is the man that gave me my chance and opportunity. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. I know for a fact that if you give Marcus Freeman a team to be in the game, they're going to stay in the game. They got a chance to win the game as well. My thing is, shut them out there. Come out, throw the ball to all the wide receivers in the world. Jeremiah Smith is the man. We got great guys across the board. Emeka Egbuka. Just get the ball out your hands fast, and then we'll run the ball later.
You mentioned Jeremiah Smith. We talked about him a lot this show. What, as a quarterback, what makes him so special?
To tell you the truth, I think it's just because he's mean.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't mess around. He doesn't play around. I know from the rooter to the tutor how he works out and how he approaches the game. No partying, none of the extracurriculars. To me, that's the most appeasing thing. If I can get a guy that on 3rd and long thinks the same way that he does on 1st and 10, we're going to win.
That's what I love about Jeremiah Smith. His composure, the way the veteran players lean on him and they understand that he's going to make the play when his number is called. He blended right in. When you think about Ohio State and the recent wide receivers that go to the National Football League, you look at Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and also Marvin Harrison Jr. And for Jeremiah Smith to do what he's doing as a freshman and everyone saying that he's going to be the best of all of them, man, if you're a quarterback, you living in heaven.
I'm going to be licking my chops thanks to Ryan Day, Brian Hartline. They're doing a great job producing these products. Feels good to me at the end of the year.
We kind of asked Joey Galloway and Eddie George about how much do they sort of reach out to young guys with you know, especially like a Jeremiah Smith, when you see how talented he is. How often are you going back to guys on campus and reaching out and helping guys with different things?
Not as often as I'd like. The program is in tremendous hands. They're doing a great job. It's on me to come back a little bit more. I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son, so I try to be as present in their life as I can. But when they call, I'll come.
Level, when you look at Ryan Day coming into the college football playoffs, a lot of people saying his job is on the line. How he was able to galvanize and get everyone to come together for a common goal, and tonight they get an opportunity to play for that common goal. As a former player, what does that do for you? How does that make you feel inside, knowing that this is the university that you represented for so long, but seeing him as the leader and being able to have these guys move in unison, how does that make you feel as a former player?
It does a lot. It makes me feel good that he galvanized the guys, but I wish he could come to my home and galvanize me, because 13 to 10, I still feel it. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I understand that we got a chance to win the national championship, but that game at the end of the year.
And that's the Michigan game he's talking about.
I'm kind of teetering. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
They just can't be choosers. I'm kind of spoiled as an Ohio State fan, so you have to forgive me.
Yeah. So when you think about the conversation about the fact that Ryan Day hasn't been able to beat Michigan, if he wasn't at this point, what does that mean for him as a head coach at Ohio State?
To tell you the truth, I think that is for the higher ups.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, so it was top heavy if you ask me. I think we're in good hands, though. I like what Ryan Day's doing, and he's got my approval.
New Orleans and all those affected by the ongoing fires in the greater Los Angeles.
All right, Troy, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to say goodbye to you as we toss it over to the PA announcer in the arena.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And now, to perform America the Beautiful, joined by American Sign Language performer, 14-year-old Georgia Peaches, a student from the Atlanta Area School for the Deaf. Please welcome, under the direction of Dr. Kevin Johnson, the Spelman College Glee Club. And now, to perform our national anthem, joined by American Sign Language performer Alexander Charlotte, a 12th grade student from the Atlanta Area School for the Deaf, and accompanied by award-winning musical director Adam Blackstone, please welcome Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Coco Jones.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly beheld at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies the host bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Cause the Star-Spangled Banner yet
Thank you to Spelman College Glee Club, Georgia Peaches and Alexander Charlotte from Atlanta Area School for the Deaf, United States Central Command, Adam Blackstone, and Coco.
Need to want to help if they can. If you're able, we suggest you go to donate redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Back in Atlanta after this.
Ohio State, is that the best roster money can buy?
They've essentially pushed all their chips to the center of the table.
Will Howard's a great fit. It's a new opportunity. It's a new challenge.
I just go insane. I'm in my own lane. I'm at the top of my game.
Number 3 Oregon, number 2 Ohio State.
7 lead changes with a 1-point game.
A lot of time coming off. Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it.
I still got all the belief in the world in this team.
4th down and goal at the 1. Incomplete. Ohio State holds once again. Time to go on the run.
Caleb Downs with an 80-yard punt return. And the Ohio State Buckeyes have handed Indiana its first blemish of the season.
Ohio State, Michigan, the game. Will Howard throws his second pick, and he hooked it. No good. Wow.
Wolverines have stunned the college football world.
When it's all said and done, the pressure is on Ryan Day now to win a national title.
Can Will Howard bounce back?
Downfield shot. Ohio State strikes first. Touchdown, Ohio State. They're 3 for 3.
The Buckeyes can begin planning for Pasadena and a rematch with the Ducks.
Smith roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
They're carving up a Ducks defense that was pretty elite. Ohio State overwhelming today. The Scarlet and Gray redemption tour arrives in Texas for the semifinals with serious steam.
Trevian Henderson gets momentum back for Ohio State. 75 yards.
Judkins.
Touchdown, Ohio State takes the lead. Pressure comes. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Ohio State scoop and score and dagger.
Buckeyes out of the championship game.
No
Notre Dame's coming in here. A lot of people excited to see who these teams really are.
They're going to throw for it. Incomplete.
Notre Dame starts 2024 with a bang.
Man, that was a huge victory for our program.
They're going to be in. You don't see many losses left on Notre Dame's schedule.
Leonard's going to pass. Intercepted! What a time to throw a pick.
For the ball game with 5 seconds left.
And that's blocked at the line of scrimmage.
The Huskies have beaten Notre Dame.
We go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in a tale of 2 weeks, but there's only one option for me, and that's to get back to work and get it fixed.
Leonard looks right, throws left. Love makes the catch, goes airborne. Oh! Stiff arm on his way to the house. Another touchdown for Riley Leonard.
Is there a great team this year?
It's kind of Notre Dame.
Ball's thrown, tipped, intercepted, pick six.
Notre Dame's path to the playoff marches on.
They have that look to win a national championship.
We had some adversity, but they responded. This is what it's all about, man. It's the journey.
The Irish, 10 consecutive wins since the loss to Northern Illinois and headed to the college football playoff.
Notre Dame and Indiana ready to get the college football playoff started. Jeremiah Love breaks free. Touchdown! The Irish are on to the quarterfinal and a date with the Georgia Bulldogs. Touchdown Irish! 17 points in a span of 25 seconds. 13 wins is the school record, and they hope they have 2 more to go. The Fighting Irish, 2 wins away from their 12th national championship. Leonard throws wide open! Jaden Greathouse scores! Aller hit as he throws! Intercepted! The kick is good! Notre Dame has won the Orange Bowl, and Marcus Freeman is taking them to the championship game.
The teams have a run hour on the field. We just saw the fire behind us. It was warm all the way up here. It felt really good in the very cold ATL. HT, for these players, this stage is a lot bigger than the other stages that they're on throughout the regular season and even have been to this point. What is your mindset as a player as you go into this matchup?
Don't do anything in this matchup that you wouldn't have done in any previous game. When you start to get outside of the norm and you try to be the hero, you try to make an extra play, reaching the football, fumbling the football, have the penalties. The emotions are too high. I love when players have emotions, but you got to let the highs remain high, the lows are going to be low, stay even keel. Don't do anything to hurt your football team. Don't be somebody that you're not. There's a reason why the Ohio State players are playing for Ohio State. There's a reason why the Notre Dame players are playing for Notre Dame. There's a reason why these respected coaches are coaching for both teams. Understand that you deserve to be here and show up in the biggest moment of your life up until this point.
So as I mentioned, we just saw both teams run out on the field. The first one was Notre Dame. Lyles, as you look forward to this matchup, what do you expect Notre Dame, because a lot of people think that they're going to take a huge L tonight. What do you expect them to do out of the game?
I really expect them to, I guess to summarize what HD said, almost controlled chaos. Because they know who they are, they run the football, right? I think as long as they avoid having to get into situations that are not strengths of theirs, which quite frankly, this is a really well-rounded football team. It's all about not putting yourself into situations where you're not good. The only thing that this team struggles with is throwing the football. If they are in a position where they're only a few situations here and there where they actually have to make Riley Leonard throw downfield, I think Notre Dame stays in this game more so than people think. I think that's why the line's not bigger, because this is still a very well-rounded football.
So that's why I think for Notre Dame offensively, first and second down production is imperative. You got to live in 3rd and 2 to 5, or 3rd and inches and 3rd and 1. You can't be in a situation where you're 3rd and 9, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 13, because that's when those 2 defensive ends, JTT, Jack Sawyer, those guys are going to pin their ears back, and they're coming to hunt.
That's going to be a big matchup, especially with the freshman left tackle at Notre Dame starting. Out of all the guests that we had today, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was when Katie George told us that Jeremiah Love was probably, I believe she said he was 55-65% in the Orange Bowl. He's up to 80-90%.
90%, yep.
Hey man, the hurdle that he had on a 2-yard run, and then the 2-yard, one of the toughest 2-yard touchdowns we've ever seen. If he did that at a lower percentage and he's 80-90 tonight, that is big news for Notre Dame.
Now, I don't want to see a blowout. I want this game to be as and also a national championship for his respective school.
All right, we're about to watch the coin toss. I want to ask you guys.
King doing the coin toss.
Yeah, exactly, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I want to ask you guys your game picks. As I mentioned, a lot of people think Notre Dame is going to get rolled in this matchup. HC, who do you have?
I'm going with OHIO. It's because they're the stronger team. I believe through and through they have the better quarterback, but also there's a reason why they spent $20 million in NIL.
Yeah.
They have a super team. They have NFL pros up and down this roster. I'm going with the Buckeyes.
I'm also going to go with Ohio State. I'll tell you what, though, if Notre Dame pulls this game off, this is one of the greatest single, not just upsets in national championship history. This is one of the great seasons in college football history if Notre Dame pulls this off tonight. Just given where they were after that loss at NIU at home, nobody in Notre Dame history ever thought they'd be losing to a Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
And then come down here and now you're playing in the national championship. It would be one of the greatest turnarounds in college football, honestly in sports history, I think.
And now we know that Notre Dame is going to receive the football. Start fast.
Yep.
Have it start fast.
Right.
Score right here.
All right, we'll see what they're able to do in this match.